Oh, hello world. Where are you guys from? Hi. Hey. Brazil, Erica, and Newton. Okay, in three, four, and one.
Okay.
Oh, it's Erica here. Hi, Erica.
It's me. Hi, how are you?
I'm alright. Never better. Thanks a lot for asking. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for inviting me for the live. I'm so honored. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thanks actually for accepting that invitation because I've been meaning to do that for a very long time. I've been following you and your channel. You share it with another teacher, right?
Yeah, that's teacher Newton. He's my husband. We work together and we
Oh,
take
nice.
turns uploading the
Oh,
videos. Yeah.
okay. You take turns. And can you tell us more about your channel? What is the main idea of your channel and maybe your courses, your own courses?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Érika. I'm Brazilian. I live in Brazil. I've lived here my whole life, except for 1 year when I lived in the US for a
Oh,
year as an
wow.
exchange
Where?
student. Yeah, in New Hampshire. Have you been?
Oh, wow. No,
Yeah.
no,
No, not yet.
no, not yet,
It's
not
it.
yet.
Yeah. I think people should go there, especially in the fall. So maybe you should plan
Yeah, I
to
heard that
visit there
too.
this year because it's beautiful, beautiful.
Hmm.
But so I have a degree in letras, in letters, a master's degree in English literature here.
Oh, wow.
And I've been teaching English for quite a while now, a few decades. I've taught
Decades?
different,
Are you serious?
yeah.
Oh my
uh,
God. That's so
yeah,
impressive.
it's been a while. That's the language I've been studying the most because I love learning languages. And
Okay.
English is, I would say the most important language in general, depending on each one's situation. It might be another
Hmm.
language, but in general, English, I think this is the most important one. The basis, especially today with the internet, right? I think
That's right. With the
knowing
rise of the
English
internet.
well,
Yeah.
yes, you can learn so much more if you know English. So
Exactly. But do
yeah,
you speak any other languages? I'm sorry for interrupting you, but you said you love
no,
foreign languages, like you speak.
yeah. So
Oh,
when I was living in New Hampshire, it
yeah.
has its border with Canada, and I
Canada, that's
visited,
French.
yeah, yeah,
Ah, okay.
Quebec and Montreal. So
It's
I
so
got super.
beautiful. Oh
It
my
is, it is.
God. I've been
I
there,
got.
yeah.
Oh, you have? Yeah,
Yes,
it's
I lived in
beautiful.
Toronto for yeah, for several months and yeah, I also
Oh, so
visited.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
loved it. I
cool.
totally loved it.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So I decided when I came back, I decided to start learning another language, French, this time. So
Wow.
I started taking classes for around a year, and then I got so excited. I said, "Oh, I should know Spanish because all the other countries here." Oh, by the way, in Brazil we speak Portuguese. A lot of people don't know that, and all the other countries.
Bravo,
Yeah.
Erica. Bravo. I know it's so funny.
So
You know the funniest part that I had a friend and she liked like dancing, like I'm also into dancing. So she like danced big time. Like she was a huge fan. And she said, "You know
uh,
what? One day I want to go to Brazil and that's why I'm going to study I'm going to study Spanish." I'm like,
yeah,
"Well, maybe you should go
that's
with
not the case.
Portuguese first."
Yeah. Yeah, I know it might sound weird, but we were colonized by the Portuguese. So we are the only
Mostly, yeah.
country, yeah,
Yeah.
where this is the only country in Latin America or in South America where we speak Portuguese, and all the other countries. So I decided I need to know Spanish too. Our neighbor
Yeah,
countries speak Spanish. So, and it's very similar to Portuguese. It's
it
very
is.
exciting, beautiful, beautiful language. I love it. So French and Spanish. And then I said, oh, why not Italian? Because this is another
Bravo!
Romance language. It's
Yeah,
similar too. It belongs to the same family. Let's do it. So
let's
I
go for it.
but it yeah, let's go for it. I practiced for a shorter amount of time, but I love it.
Hmm.
And then that was all before the internet. And after the internet, I said, oh my God, I'm like a kid in a candy store, because now I can learn any language I want.
Anything you want.
Yes, because before, you know, it was hard to get material to study certain languages. It was almost impossible, And parents wouldn't pay for their children to learn Italian or French. It's just English. Right?
Yeah,
that's the
because
focus.
it's like, it's for work, right? It's mostly for work.
Yeah.
It has to be practical. Like a lot of people ask me, like, why would you learn this or that? I say, well, because I love it, because I feel like I'm this person. And not a lot of people understand, like they think, what, you're not going to use it at work. You're not going to use like 5 languages at work. Are you crazy? Yeah. And
Exactly. Yeah. But I love the aspect of languages being a puzzle. I love the connection. I love the cultural aspect. I love everything about learning languages. So. And then now it's possible. For example, last week I finished a Hawaiian course on Duolingo. It was like, you know.
Now, I'm like, it's so beautiful. I mean, I heard it several times, and it is so beautiful, guys. If you ever get a chance to go to Hawaii, just do it. Or if not, just go on. Again, you don't have to have money to travel now. Go on YouTube or any other channel, and you will be mesmerized by this particular state, by this country, people, culture. It's so beautiful, and the language too. Oh my God!
It's interesting. I was talking to another teacher these days, and he's from Alaska. I'm gonna remember his name. And he said, people don't know Alaska belongs to the US. People ask him what language they think it's a country. Alaska is a country, you know, so they ask, what language do they speak in Alaska? You know, and do you live in igloos and things like that? So, and so these two states are, people kind of forget they belong. They are American.
To the US. And I think that a lot of Americans, they don't even know that Canada is a country. They think that it's part of America. Like they just, most people do that. It's so funny. Like most people answer that, okay, this is just, isn't it somewhere in America? Even within, because they're not very big on grammar, I guess. Sorry, on geography. On geography, I just wanted, we're going to be talking about grammar. That's why I thought about that. And so people think that it's somewhere like somewhere near, somewhere close. And well, Alaska used to belong to Russia, so people think, wow, like, are you Russian? Like people ask, like, are you Russian? From Alaska. So funny. Interesting.
And, last year I spent the whole year learning Polish. And it was my first Slavic language, so next year I'll be focusing on Russian. I'm very, very looking forward to it.
That's amazing. That's great. I think that nowadays, since the, I guess it's more about economics nowadays. So the relations between these two countries, Brazil and Russia, are big. All right. So we're part of BRICS, right? Part of BRICS. And still. And you don't need visa to come to Russia and vice versa. So I guess that it's a great opportunity to travel. I know a lot of Brazilian people who come here and they adore the Russian culture. It's
we have a lot of things in common.
I think so. I think so. And maybe just because, again, dancing, because now you won't believe it, but here everybody, and even I had to do that, everybody dances like a funky carioca or a samba.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, my God, your pronunciation is so good. Do you speak Portuguese?
Yes, I speak Brazilian Portuguese. I speak Spanish.
I'm like,
sorry?
Wow, where are you from, Sophie?
I'm from.
Are you American?
Yes, I
You're
am.
American.
But,
oh my God, your pronunciation is perfect.
That is the thing. That's what we're going to talk about today. I was because I was asked many times, like, how do I get this perfect pronunciation? Because it's a challenge, right, for people. How do I get this perfect accent? And it's one of the biggest challenges that people face. So I'm already like multilingual, I guess, and I have a very diverse background. So I mostly identify myself as American. But when I speak Spanish, I'm a Spaniard. I'm a person from another country. When I speak Portuguese, I have another identity. So
Wow.
yeah, this also changes. Yeah, depending on the language. Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
yeah, but it's you're even. I think you beat me at this one. I guess you're how many? 5? I counted 5 languages. 6.
No, yeah. So there. Yeah, we including Portuguese that I always forget to count. Hawaiian, I don't speak Hawaiian. It's just the basics. The basics. But the Romance languages: Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and then English. And then Polish and German. Now, German I've studied a year in the past, and this year I'm focusing on German. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic, guys. The reason why I'm asking all these questions is because today our topic is challenges. Challenges that we face as language learners. We can talk a little about teaching, which is true because it's the same, you know, like it's almost the same thing, like teaching and learning. But mostly for learners of foreign languages. So today we're not teachers, guys. We're also learners, just like you are. And people already started asking. So give us some tips on how to learn a new language. So how to start. Let's talk about, I told you maybe in my recording that we could start by levels, right? So the first level is the starter level and elementary level. So how do I start? Where do I start? What is your tip number 1?
Yeah. Well, before I start with the tip, I would like to say I had this insight this week talking to teachers and as a language learner. I don't know if you agree with that, if people here would agree, but I think that Bixby is answering here. My cell phone is answering. So I think that good teachers are good learners.
Good.
You know, I think there is this connection. Before we are teachers, we have to be learners and know how to learn and learn well. So I think this will be a good tip, even if people here are not thinking about becoming teachers. This is not the point. The point is learning. Liking the process of learning, loving the process of learning, knowing how to learn. This would be my first tip. I have other tips that are not very typical, like having respect for the language, having respect for the culture, the people.
I got the goosebumps because it's so good. The way what she just said, guys, Érika just said, have some respect for the language. Okay, and what do you mean by respect?
I mean, paying attention, basically paying attention, focusing, not getting distracted. It is important. So focus on what you're doing.
That's right.
And pay attention. Make that time be worthwhile, right? If it's 5 minutes, you're studying for 5 minutes, make it count. Make those 5 minutes
conscious practice, right? You need to be conscious because people think that you're just putting a recording on, your favorite radio on. If you're at a higher level, like advanced, you guys can do that. You can put your favorite movie and start doing other things. But mostly, this practice should be conscious. So pay attention to what you're doing.
All other types of practices, they're important too. Like I do that a lot. I just listen to podcasts and do housework, you know, household chores and things like that. And many times I'm not paying attention. I don't mean like, oh, I have to pay attention the whole time. It's not like that. There are times that we should pay attention. Other times we should actually let our brains do their job, right?
Their job,
we need a break. We need breaks because that's when our brains process all the new information and things like that. So I'm not saying we have to pay attention all the time, but if we have to have those moments in which we pay attention. So decide on that. I would recommend doing that every single day. This is another tip.
That's right.
I don't like to skip days. I don't do that. And even if it's I have a 5-minute practice per day, it's okay. It's better than skipping a day, in my view.
Better than nothing. Yeah.
Some people, some other polyglots, they like to take breaks, long breaks, like 1 week, a month, or something. It doesn't work for me. Another tip, try to understand how you learn, because people
your
learn
learning
in different
pattern. Feel,
ways.
yes, feel.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is more effective for you? Take a test.
Yes,
Are you
yes,
a
yes.
visual person? Are you kinesthetic?
Yes.
Do you like touching things? Or are you a visual?
Yeah.
Or maybe you like audio? But that doesn't determine that you should never do other stuff, you know? So if you're
Yeah.
just a visual person, don't just read. Try to do something, add something to it. Yeah.
Yes. Be aware of how you learn best. Become aware by experimenting. This is what I say all the time to my students. Experiment, experiment, experiment all the time. You know, listen to people, listen to everyone. Follow all the teachers here on Instagram, on YouTube. And by experimenting, try to feel what works best for you, right? So this is another tip. Yeah, what else? Oh,
yes.
the other thing,
yeah,
the
sure,
other
you go.
just very quickly, I was talking about having respect for the culture. The other word that is kind of, it's not very typical, is being humble. Being humble, because sometimes I feel, especially students who are in the intermediate level and advanced level, they don't like to go back to the basics and review. They don't like to review basic stuff. And many times they make basic mistakes. Like, it's okay to make mistakes, especially when you're communicating, talking to someone like here. I'm probably make some mistakes. It's okay, it's fine. But it's important to review. You know, as a learner, I feel that I improve a lot when I go back to the beginning. Even if I'm at a more advanced stage, I like to review basic stuff and to make sure that kind of knowledge is firm. Yeah.
Okay, back to basics. Okay, I'm just making comments because I really want to comment on each point that you just made. So, and also summing up. So, basically, learning patterns. Again, you are an individual, and what works for you may not work for another person, okay? That's why a good teacher can recognize this pattern if you have a teacher. If you don't have a teacher, well, you will have to learn how to become your own teacher, how to teach yourself a new language. This is what Érika is doing currently, me with Italian, anything, okay? You can become your own teacher, and that's important. You can teach yourself so many skills with the help of books, Instagram, whatever you choose. Choose a variety of sources. Don't get exposed to just books or just talking to people. Talking to people is great. But what I notice is that I can tell as a person, I say that I have this superpower. I can tell how many books the person has read in their life, or how many sources of information they use in their own language. And the reason for that is the variety, okay? If you just speak to one person, you have someone in your house who speaks English, that's perfect. You have a pen pal, that's amazing. But guys, don't forget about books, movies, songs. People say, I want to learn slang words. Why not? You can also do that. It's a lot of fun. And you will have a lot of fun, and your speech would be more native-like. Because I use, as a person, I use a variety of, you know, like phrases, fixed expressions, anything. Of course, I'm also a teacher, so I kind of need to, you know, like look at, like be self-conscious a little, all right, about the language and my pace. But still, we use a variety of sources. And you should be, you're not just one person, you can be many people. And that is something that I wanted to mention. When you always ask me, so people say, okay, how do I choose my accent? Or which accent is better, British or American? And I always say, you tell me. Because in this case, you need to determine who you are as a person. You need to determine your language identity. You will be the one who will be speaking the language in the future, all right? So please, let's be clear. I will teach you, but you are the one who's going to do that, all right? You'll do the job, the dirty work, okay? My work is clean, it's done. Once it's done, whatever. But you will have this identity and keep it for the rest of your life. So by default, you have to be respectful when it comes to the language. A lot of people say, English is a stupid language. Whoa. That's some bad attitude. I don't like that bad
Oh,
attitude.
yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I say
Attitude
no,
is another thing.
Attitude is big here, guys.
Yes, yes.
So,
Our mental attitude is very important too. Yeah.
yeah, like why English is so difficult. I hate this. I hate phrasal verbs. I hate this. I hate that. You have to be rather positive and open-minded. So
Yes,
when
yes.
you choose a language or an accent, like imagine that you want to learn Spanish, guys. 18 countries in Latin America speak Spanish. You have to choose who you are. Do you identify yourself with someone from America? Do you have a favorite actor or some person you admire? Or maybe you are in some characteristics, like read something about like stereotypes, Google it, like things that Americans do. And if you identify yourself and their values resonate with you, okay, choose American. If not, choose British or Australian, or there are so many other, or Jamaican. Who cares? You are this person, and you will have to imitate a lot. Érika just said we're going to use, I don't know, if you want to study, we're going to use a lot of recordings, radio, all of these sources. So you will be exposed to a variety of sources, but you will speak just preferably one English, okay? So it's up to you. That was a problem with me, and I struggled with this a lot when I had to learn French. Because when I speak French, because I can understand it, I can speak it a little, I love French, but I'm not French. I am just not a French woman. I cannot be a French woman. I couldn't identify myself with the French people. I love them, but I'm not them. And that kind of made me stop learning the language. I said, I know French. Yeah, I know French. Well, that will help me learn English better. I don't know, like my own, I mean, the etymology of words. When I say learn English better, I mean the etymology of words, because they come from French or Spanish better. It will help me with my Italian, but I'm not French. You see, at some point I stopped and I said no.
It happens.
So, and it's because, it's not because somebody is lazy, but because you actually need to feel, right, that you're this person.
You need to choose, and there are priorities you need to choose, right? And what you said is interesting, because I am learning more Portuguese now, which is my native language, because of all the other languages. This is amazing. This is so cool. Yes.
Yeah, because you never know. Like people ask me like, okay, what? I love etymology because of that. Like, it's good for world building. Like, you can create new words if you know the origin, and you can learn more languages like this. So this is my tip, guys. Learn the roots of the words that you see, okay, and like the pattern, okay, the prefixes and suffixes. Most words that you will encounter in English will be either of Greek or Latin origin. If not, it's probably French. Okay, so
this is so helpful. Yeah,
it is very helpful. Use your own language. If you're native Spanish speakers, guys, I envy you so much, because you can learn English faster, right? Almost the same grammar in, well, maybe pronunciation is different, of course, but same grammar, articles, whatever you choose, but it's not like another language altogether. Okay, so so finding yourself, your language identity. If you have to study, like a lot of people say, I need it for work. I hate English. Seriously, I just hate it. I need it for work. Well, then it's my task as a teacher and your task as a learner to make this journey very pleasurable. And how can you do that? You kind of have to encourage yourself. Use a variety of sources. Don't just learn business English. I know that you need it, but you can motivate yourself through things that you like. You like music? Everybody does. Who doesn't? Let's look at some. I'm sure that you heard some. If you're like not from another planet, you probably heard some American singers, or I don't know, British singers. So we can work with that a little, because language is out there for you to use. So it's amazing. You will be surprised how many things you can encounter on your way, on your language journey. And you need to be inspired. Stay motivated. right? At all
Yeah,
times.
one thing that I would like to say about motivation and also about self-correction. These are things that, especially if you don't have a teacher, but even if you have a teacher, it's not the teacher or your boss or the whole world that needs to motivate you. That's not how I feel as a learner. I think that motivation has to come from me, from myself.
Internally.
Yes, this is the strong kind of motivation that will make your practice last. Because if it's external, it will be feeble and weak and it won't last long. But if it comes from you, it will last a very long time because it's kind of self-sustainable. You motivate yourself, you learn a lot, you want to keep learning and you don't want to stop. It becomes a habit. You keep going.
Yeah. So here, I guess that your core motivation, you can find your core value. So why you need to answer one question, why? Why am I doing this?
Yes.
Do I want to get a promotion? Do I want to live in a foreign country? Whatever your motivation is, guys, just find it. And whenever you feel down, whenever you feel like giving up and like there is no one to help you out, get back to it. Think of this core value and you will start getting and feeling motivated immediately. Okay?
And of course it should be pleasurable too. Yeah, it should be pleasurable too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It should be. Because people say grammar sucks. Okay, you need to love grammar too. That's part of the being respectful.
Yes.
And I also, I love the way you said respect. Because to me, I know that it's a very controversial issue. I know that. I know that. But accents. Okay, accents. What I found like in my own practice and just talking to people, they say, okay, I come from, I don't know, Poland, or I come from Spain. I love my country. I love my people. I love my language. I like English, but well, not so much anyway. And I need, for example, I don't have to speak.
Just a moment, can I interrupt you a little bit, Sophie? Because people are saying that the sound is not good. I don't know which sound. Is it my sound, your sound? People are saying slow?
I took off the headphones. Because I need to charge my phone. I have iPhone X, which is like, oh, yeah, I have only, well, I can either choose to charge it or to put my headphones. Yeah, see, like the headset is like terrible. But anyway, I can do that unless I just turn off. If I turn off, guys, sorry. But anyway, so just a sec. Okay, it's fixed. Now, respect. So a lot of people said to me that, okay, Sophia, why do I have to speak English like an American? Like, why? I am not American. I wasn't born there. I love my own culture and I'm they take pride in it. I mean, they take pride in their accent and I totally understand it. You can wear it as your own badge of honor. That's perfect. I love it, but it's part of being respectful. And when you you switch the language, you also switch your identity. And you guys will be surprised, but there is, deep down, there is a native, I'm telling you, a native, I'll repeat myself, a native American, German, I don't know, Portuguese speaker inside. You will be surprised. And it's you. It's still you. Yeah. All you have to do is to practice a lot, work on your sounds, practice a lot, imitate. The challenge, like Érika just said, that you kind of need to challenge yourself and practice daily. Yeah. I give my students a 30-minute challenge. So they have to practice every day for 30 minutes, regardless of their course, regardless of their homework, the amount of homework, they have to practice. Okay. Yeah. And that includes the accent. Yeah. Too. I like to sometimes students are a little lost about the time and I tell them, use the Pomodoro technique. It's 25 minutes. Do you know this technique? Yeah, of course. When you set your alarm clock, you can upload. I think there is an app right now, guys. There is no Pomodoro anymore. So a Pomodoro is like an alarm clock, right? So like you can put if you want to cook something, we say Pomodoro. Yeah. This is the origin. This is the origin of I didn't know that. Yeah. Yeah. But now everybody's using this technique in which you focus on a task for
the classic amount of time is 25 minutes, and then you rest 5 minutes, and then you focus again for another 25 minutes, and so on. So far, you have many blocks. You can connect them. But you can change the amount of time if you, depend on
if you need to.
Your routine.
But you need to stay away from your phone. I guess that if you use the app, it will block your phone. It blocks your phone, meaning that you will receive messages, but you will not see the notifications, no beeping sounds, nothing. So you just stay focused on one task.
I always forget this because I don't receive, I have turned off all my notifications. So I forget to tell people to do the same. Do this, turn everything off, you know, don't get distracted. Because our world is naturally making us feel distracted. We need to kind of bring it back down to, you know, back to a level in which we can live and actually do stuff, you know. We cannot be distracted all the time.
And I guess that, guys, probably you also feel distracted when you're at work or when you're learning something or studying whatever or reading something. And that can happen. And I just learned it today because I listened to my favorite radio and they said there that it's because we don't get enough sleep. So if you get enough sleep, that you will not get distracted because that's how our brain works. It needs to stay alert. If you stay alert, you stay awake, right? So it needs to stay awake, and that's why we're all distracted. We're multitasking, but actually we're not. We just kind of need to, you know, be alert over here. So guys, just pay attention to what you're doing. Be conscious. Be humble. Okay. Be patient, right? Be patient with yourself. You will make mistakes. You will make mistakes at all levels, guys. Native speakers make mistakes. Come on. So you will too, and you need to face it. But I always say that you do not treat it as mistakes. Do not beat yourself up for that. You have to feel that this is just the right answer. I say that a mistake is the right answer outside the context. We change the context and your answer is right. So if you have a book, I have tons of books. If you have a book and you need to do an exercise and you made a mistake, wow, let's change the context. Let's change the book first, and then let's get back to the original sentence. This way you will learn 2 ways to pronounce, 2 ways to write something, 2 grammar points. So do not beat yourself up. It's just the wrong context. Most of the time, okay, I'm not saying all the time, but most of the time, it's just another context. Be gentle to yourself, be kind to yourself when you make a mistake. But, so mistakes are part of the language learning process. Everybody, and even us natives, I make mistakes in Portuguese. But one thing is to make the mistake once, twice, 3 times, 3 times. More than that, you should really, really start paying attention to avoid repeating that same mistake. So it's important. It's okay to make mistakes and sometimes even repeat them. But making an effort to pay attention and understanding what's going on, you know, paying attention at where am I getting this? Why am I getting this wrong? What's happening here? Being self-conscious, right? Being self-conscious. You know how interesting it is. You kind of need to strike the right balance between being self-conscious and like lowering your own filter. Because when you are, guys, when we say being self-conscious, that means that you need to pay attention to what you're doing, or in this case, to what you're saying. So like I call this stop and think, like rock and roll, stop and think. Now you need to stop and think. When you have, it's a good technique to learn new words and expressions. When you're just starting, okay, you can, I'm sure that you use a lot of expressions in your own language. You do speak, right? So what you can do is just to stop and think. Oh, how would I say this in Portuguese? Wait a minute, I just learned this new phrase, and how would I, so you kind of need to stop yourself from all this, like the word acts of your thoughts, and just stop and think, oh, maybe, it does sound right in Spanish, but how about Italian? Do they have something similar? Then you start Googling, you start asking
making
people.
Connections. Yes.
And it's amazing. This technique, stop and think. all right? And also why you're making a mistake. Like, okay, I made this mistake 3 times. Maybe it's because of my own language, all right? Maybe my own language influenced somehow. How can I stop, all right? How can I autocorrect? You will need to autocorrect yourself a lot. Self-correction is key here. Yeah. And people say, can you recommend me any book for practicing English? Orlando, yes, we can, but let us know your level, please. Okay. And practicing what part? Because when we practice English, we practice many skills. If you need reading, we can recommend you a good read. We can recommend you some grammar books if you want, but just let us know your level. Okay. Again, another thing is knowing your level. You can take a level test online, and yeah, it's just it works pretty much okay.
It's simple. It's a good reference. Yeah,
it's good. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and then you can find books at your level, so that you wouldn't get discouraged by saying, "Wow, I don't know. I've been learning English for 3 years and I understand nothing." Don't get discouraged. It's probably not your level. Yeah, but always challenge yourself and be like +1 level ahead of where you are. Okay, just +1, not +2, +3, +1 level to where you are now. Okay.
Casey is saying something here that is stop asking and Google it. It seems funny and weird, but yeah, today, you know, we have the internet. You don't need to wait for the class or for a teacher to find out the answer for a question. Just Google it. You can hear, you know, a lot, you can come across a lot of different information, pieces of information and explanations and things like that. Yeah. And then if you do have a teacher, that's what my students do. When you do have a teacher, you just explain to your teacher what you understand, what you found out in your research. Okay. I had this problem this week. I didn't know how to use this preposition, and then I did this search, and I found out this and this and that. Is this okay? Is this all right? And then your teacher will give you feedback, and this is something that I feel it's important to be able to explain things as a learner. You know, people who are learning a language, explain what you're learning to someone. You know, it can be a friend, it can be someone here you've met on Instagram, it can be your teacher, it can be someone in your family, anyone who's learning the language. Everybody will probably be learning at some stage, will be learning English. So use every opportunity to explain things to other people, and this will definitely help you.
And don't be afraid to ask questions. And don't be afraid to ask questions. People always say, oh, but what if I don't understand something? Should I interrupt? Should I not? In this case, well, learning a language is a risk. And I always say that there are like several degrees of risk that you can take as a learner. So the risk number 1, I guess the hardest risk that you can take is just actually say, oh, I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Or stop the presenter or stop your interlocutor and say, whoa, I didn't understand that. Can you please repeat? Or come again. When you're talking on the phone, come again. Things like that. However, if you don't feel that it's appropriate to stop someone, you can do it after they just said it, or after their presentation, or after the call. If you feel that it's not so comfortable at all at work to ask even after the presentation has taken place, what you can write an email or text someone and say, you know what, I saw you, like, I heard you saying something. Even a teacher, it's fine. Some people feel more comfortable with texting. So if you're more comfortable with that, why not? Just ask your teacher or send a text and say, you know, I know that, it sounds weird, but I didn't understand that part. Can you repeat it for me, please? Okay. Take notes so that you would, you know, like you would come back to it later. And that amazing idea of coming back to what you had already studied, be humble and understand that you will need to recycle. Guys, the way you recycle, I don't know, plastic, the way you recycle paper, you will need to recycle the information that you have in your head. And you will need to get back to, you said, get back to basics, right? To where you started, right? And because when you have the strong basics, when you have the strong foundation, you can move forward. If you don't have it, that will be hard to move forward, really. Yeah, really. Yes. So you should be very confident with the basic stuff, right? don't say that, oh, I know this. This is a silly task. I don't want to do this. When my students say this, like when my students say that, I say, okay, that is an easy task, but let's, I'll create a twist on it. So what I do, I just, for example, if it's an easy sentence or an easy dialogue, I say, we're not here for the language. We're not here for the grammar. We're not here for vocabulary. Let's pronounce it the way native speakers do. Yeah. Because you already know the grammar, you know what you're talking about, you know this dialogue, but let's pronounce it with the right tone. Let's link the words in this dialogue. And believe me, it's such a challenge. So guys, I can make, if you ask me, I can make any task difficult for you. Seriously. And you can do that too. You can find an easy book, but you can make it more difficult for yourself, okay? To, you know, to get familiar with, you know, some aspects that you hadn't paid attention before. Recycle.
Can definitely do that.
Okay. The worst thing for a teacher is dealing with a class of different levels. Well, it's actually the best thing for a teacher and the worst, because this is how a teacher can get experience. Okay. This is what you call experience. It's not the worst thing. It's not a problem. It's a challenge.
It's a challenge. Yes.
It is. And well, even at work, it will be a challenge, because you will find that some people, it's not your problem maybe, but some people do not speak English or any other language the way you do. And you need to be patient. You really need to be patient.
That's right. That's right.
You need to admit that not everyone is the same. Not everyone has the same pronunciation.
Yeah, empathy is, again, something really, again, not the first time I mentioned empathy here today, but it is a very, very important skill. Can I consider it a skill? I don't know. It's something we develop, right? We can practice.
I think so. I think that what we can develop is more not just empathy, but what we call emotional intelligence.
Yeah,
you know, like when you're, because empathy, to me, I don't know, maybe it's just because of the word like pathia, which is passion or loving something. So I guess that some people are naturally this way, but some people have to learn it. And in business, this is called emotional intelligence. Yeah, and it's also respect. It has a lot to do with respecting other person's feelings, right?
Yes. Yeah. And limitations and everything else, right? We need to, not everyone is like, you know, people are different. People are different. And we respecting everyone is very important, right? So, yeah, I was going to ask you, so can I ask you something? Yeah, about pronunciation. So how do you learn pronunciation when you're learning a language, and what tips do you give your students?
Okay, so that is because I guess I'm not sure if I'm the only one in the market. I guess that there are teachers out there, but when I was even studying teaching like English as a second language, I met with a lot of confrontation from teachers, other teachers, saying that pronunciation is not important. Guys, pronunciation is something, what I compare it to, I love, as you probably noticed, I love making analogies. So here, or metaphors, like using metaphors. So imagine that you're a businessman, right? And you have an interview, a very important interview. You are an expert in what you do. You're amazing. You're perfect. Everybody loves you. You're a good person. You have a very nice, kind personality. And this is your, well, interview day, a very important day. But you show up in a dirty suit. Okay. You show up in a dirty suit. And the person, like the HR manager, is looking at you. They do understand that you're amazing and they should hire you. But they have to look at you through the lens of, you know, this dirty suit. And I'm not saying that having accent, having some accent is like the wrong thing. No. But I'm saying that it's something that you can make better, so why not? Why not make it better? It's something you can put up a new suit, right? Why not? Why would you put a dirty suit if you can't put, or like, I don't know, clean it somehow? Why not? Why not do it? So I have a lot of tips. First of all, I guess this is imitation. So when you imitate some speaker, and it can be hard. That's why you can start with exaggeration. So you can exaggerate the accent or making fun of, like mocking the accent or making fun of the accent. Right? I always tell my students that you can make fun of me if you want. It's the same in music. When you play a musical instrument,
I agree.
You can just exaggerate somehow, or when you sing, you can exaggerate, stretch your limits a little.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, you mentioned before choosing one person or one nationality, or would you recommend listening to only one person, or at least for a while, or a variety of people?
I would say
what would you recommend?
I would say that if you choose something for yourself, that doesn't have, well, the fact that you chose American does not mean that you will only talk to American people, right? So you need to get exposed to a variety of accents, right? But when you choose something, when you practice, like you have this sacred 30 minutes to practice, you need to choose your source, okay? So you actually need to choose the accent. If you have, like, if you love people from Chicagoan accent, why not listen to Chicago Public Radio, or just download an app. What you can do, you can download an app for radios. That's what I do in all languages, and you will find just type Chicago, Minnesota, anything. All right, like Spain, Guatemala, whatever. Yeah. So just to get the idea of the accent or of how people speak. And also watching, because you really, if you like this actor, you will probably watch some movies with this actor or actress. Why not? So so focus on one thing, but be exposed to a variety of things. Okay,
it's a balance again. A balance.
That's right.
Balance.
When I mentioned imitation, I mentioned tongue twisters. I use tongue twisters a lot. They help you with your diction. Now, there is one secret that I keep, but not just keep, but I try to let it out, and people always ask me, like, how will this help me? Actors and like TV hosts or radio hosts, they do that a lot. Read aloud. Okay, guys, read aloud. Whatever you're reading, just read aloud. This is called active reading. People say, "Oh, reading is so boring." I mean, I just like if you read to yourself, that's pretty boring. But if you create sort of like a drama class out of it, believe me, it's
make it interesting. Make it interesting. Yeah, there are no limits in how we can practice, right? Sometimes students ask, "Oh, is this the right way to practice? Am I doing it right? Is this okay? Is this wrong?" I don't think, I usually say that the only wrong thing you could do is to not practice at all. This is really, really wrong. You should be practicing.
That's right, being idle.
Apart from that, you can do whatever you want. Remember, experiment. There is no, like, I don't believe there is a perfect way, because in my case, when I'm learning, it's so hard for me to tell, oh, I study in this way, because I'm changing all the time. There is a basic core that I keep, like I practice every day for a certain amount of time, and but I'm always making plans in my head. I'm always planning, like I'm going to finish this by the end of the week. I'm going to do this on Sunday. I'm going to do this for 30 days. Challenges, like your challenge. I love challenges. Absolutely love challenges. Last year, and this year too, I've been participating in as many challenges as possible here on Instagram. And I love them. I love having a time limit to do stuff, to finish tasks, deadlines, you know. So I organize
against the clock, right? Doing something against the clock.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, because what usually happens is that I finish the task before, because I'm so intent on motivated, to do it, that I end up finishing before the deadline. It's really, really cool, and it's motivating. It's self-motivating, and I really like that.
And imagine, guys, how good it feels afterwards. I mean, how good it feels that, okay, I can speak, like, after that, you can say, oh, I can speak English fluently, or I can travel wherever I want. People will understand me, and they will treat me differently. So guys, when I said I gave you this metaphor with the HR manager, the businessman, right? With a good employee, right? We want to hire him. We really do, but he needs to change the costume, because I will see, believe me, if there is a person that is sitting there, like, and you always have to look first at the costume and then at the person. So you see, why not? If you can make it better, why not clean up the costume a little? Grammar, the same thing.
What you're saying, you can make it easier on the other person, right? You can make the other person more comfortable by changing, by improving, by becoming better. You can make life easier for everyone by doing that.
Not just the accent, not just the accent. Forget about the accent. You can change your grammar. I know that you can. You can change your grammar. You can change your by changing your habits, and through changing your habits, you can change everything. Okay. Yeah. That's the most empowering thing that you can do to yourself and to your English. Okay. Yeah. So people, ask something like I'm playing in a movie. I read like I'm playing in a movie. Okay. Online teachers collection. That's fantastic. All right. If you have a good book with a lot of dialogues, you can create a role play. That's what good teachers do. They role play a lot. Okay.
Can I say something that just try to be quick here. What I do, for example, I started learning German 5 years ago. I studied for 1 year only, and then there was a hiatus, and I'm taking it up now again. What I'm doing, because in that year, I was very frustrated with my speaking, my pronunciation. There are very hard sounds that we don't have in Portuguese. I was very frustrated. What I'm doing now, I'm so happy because it seems to be working, is I'm getting these dialogues, very short lines that I can memorize, like 2 or 3 lines. I memorize, I practice a lot. I use Google Translate. I know some people don't like it, but that's what I have. I listen, I repeat as many times as I feel I need to get the pronunciation right and the connection between the words and everything. I memorize those lines. I like dialogues. And then I record myself, but I use the video. I record myself. And when I watch the video, I feel so happy. Oh, I'm finally saying I can speak German. I can see myself speaking.
It's like a journal, right? It's like a journal. In the past, people would have journals, guys. Now you have the internet, and you can record yourself. You can start your own blog on Instagram if you want. If you feel motivated this way. I saw a lot of students did that, and I'm so happy that I saw blogs like this. People say, I'm learning English, for example, or I'm learning Spanish. And I see that day by day, they create the short videos, reading, doing something, and this is like their journal, and they're getting better. Even I can see that they're getting better. Yeah. With every
video. We're speaking. Yeah, we're speaking, and this is a way maybe to feel less afraid of actually speaking, because a lot of people feel very shy, right? Totally. Because they don't hear themselves speaking the new language. So it is weird, right? In the beginning, when you're going to start speaking the new language, it's so weird.
Yeah, you have to be comfortable with your own voice, because that's why I said you should read aloud. When you're reading something aloud, it's when you're reading to your kids, if you have kids, guys. But that's why we read aloud to our kids, so that they would get used to our voice. And when they read aloud, they get used to their own voice, the voice that they have in their head, right? They synchronize their thoughts to what they're saying. Okay, you will not have this this terrible, I should say, well, turbulence when you have like your thoughts somewhere there. And you've got your reading, or you're reading something, and you just stop, you pause, you lost your train of thought, your mind goes blank. No, you won't have it, because what you say is what you think, and this is synchronized. Okay, but you have to get used to it.
Yes. And Sophia, some people are asking here, they want to, this is a common question, they want to learn fast. It's not just learn English, they want to learn fast. Okay, what do you say when people ask that?
Okay, so if you want to jump start on your English, so I would suggest or not just English, any other language. Okay, tomorrow, for example, like you said, I want to learn Polish, right, or Russian. So what you do is you find a book that says, I don't know, Russian in 30 days. Yeah, that's right. Russian in 30 days. It's usually a book with a lot of dialogues. Like you will have 30 dialogues if it's 30 days, recordings with natural speech, all right, natural native speech. And you go through this book for 30 days, okay? Then when you feel more motivated, you can start another book like this. This is how I started with my Portuguese. And then another book, and then another, okay? But this fast result can be obtained only through like this like habit of studying every day, and you can get this through these books. The fact that they told, like when they say, okay, you're gonna learn English in 30 days, it's impossible, all right? Let's be clear on this one. But it's possible to create amazing, positive, useful habits, okay, that will jumpstart your progress. You will see, oh, I just actually finished one book. And I can speak and I can understand something. Wow, this will motivate you to buy another book. Okay, this is but this is just for like a new language, a completely new language you had no idea how to use. Okay, this is good. So these books are great because people say, wow, these books are useless, like I don't want to learn in 30 days, it's impossible, or in 7 days, or while driving. Yes, but use them to motivate you. Of course you should use more than that. And when you want to learn fast, I would say that when you learn a new word, that's one of my techniques that I use. Don't just learn one word. Try to interpret it into all the languages that you speak. But also, like every word has a family. I love talking about word families. So every word has a father, a brother, siblings, you know, and also friends and enemies. So when you learn a new word, try to learn the whole family. If it's a word of Latin or Greek origin, probably the word will have a family, like resolve, resolute, resolution, resolutely, okay? And also learn the antonyms or the synonyms, okay? So when you learn one word, come on, you can learn more than that. You can do more than that.
Great tip.
And create an example. Try to use it right away. Don't wait for tomorrow. Okay, if tomorrow never comes, I'm never going to use it, remember? So we live in a very unstable world.
Use it right away.
The economy is not stable here. So please, just
don't wait. Don't wait. Just use it right away.
Yeah, don't wait until tomorrow. Exactly. Don't put it off. Just use it right away in a sentence about you, your family, people you know, something funny. Create a funny example. Okay, write it down. Use it in conversation. Prepare for your conversations. Prepare for everything you do.
Preparation is so important.
It is key. It is key to be fluent. People say, wow, you speak so many languages, Érika, but nobody knows how many hours Érika spent learning a foreign language. It's easy for her now. After she had studied for like 5 hours daily or 6 hours, and I don't know how many hours you spent on it. That's
the average. Sometimes it depends on the time of the year. But it's the amount of hours you put in. People are saying here, you have to surround yourself, you have to expose yourself to the language, you have to, if you want to learn fast, so be in contact, expose yourself to the language as much as you can. But again, sometimes you have to pay attention to, because it's not just surround yourself and forget about the languages. You have to, at some point, pay attention at something, right?
Be active. Be an active listener. Be active,
balance
an active
again.
Listener, an active reader, an active writer, an active speaker. You see how important it is? Because I just saw a lot of people that are just listening to a presentation or to what you have to say, and they're not paying attention. And this is probably because we get distracted a lot, right? So pay attention to what you're doing, okay? At this moment, stay there, stay in the moment. Don't get distracted. It's super hard, especially when we have so many distractions right now, okay? People, okay, I'm just scrolling through. Okay, maybe we can reconnect because this live will be over, I guess, in a minute. All right, so I will reconnect, save it. All right, and we can say our goodbyes. And all right. Just a second. Just a sec.